So today I am going to disassemble this dash light. My interior or instrument panel dash lights are out. These still are on, but the other half is out. And I suspect that they're probably burned out because they're old incandescent bulbs. And also the bulb that lights up this ring is also out. I'll see about changing that. So this is a Toyota 1996 T100, and I'll show you how to remove the dash and change out these lights. So the first step is going to be removing the bolts that hold on this bottom panel here. And there's going to be one here. There's 4 of them. One here, one here, and one in there. So I'm going to get those off and then pull the panel off. So after getting the 4 bolts out, they are 10 millimeter. This just snaps off. And I'm just going to snap it off when it snaps. And take it off. Sometimes it gets caught up on this. And you have to disconnect the connections, so be careful about that. This is our light dimmer. Instrument panel light dimmer. That's my cable for the hood release. Take that off, we'll just drop that down out of the way. Now we can access these screws, which will hold the instrument panel on. There's also one right there, and there's one up here, and one on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like. So I'm going to take those 5 screws out, and this will also snap out of place. So now I've gotten the 5 screws out, and I'm going to pull off this cover. Now it does snap out, and you can see it's kind of tight. It won't come out, so we're going to have to gently pry it loose. So we'll run the screwdriver in through here. Gently. There we go. And now we have the cover off. And there's going to be a connection over here. Now to make this easier, you do want to take the tilt and tilt the steering wheel all the way down to get it out of the way. So what's holding us up here is the switch. So I need to disconnect this, and then this will pop right out. Also helpful is to get the gear shifter out of the way. So I suggest pulling the parking brake and then inserting the key and pulling the gear shifter down so you'll have some room to work. So I went ahead and unplugged all of this stuff, and I'll show you as I get it out so you can see how this comes out. You see all of these are plugged into the back of it. There's this plug, and they all are different, so they're not interchangeable, so you can't mix them up. I'm just going to leave them in the order they came out and plug them back in. This works the odometer, and this just pulls out. It also has a small little clip there, so you push that in and pull it out. You see how it releases, and it just pulls straight out. So once you have these 5 pieces disconnected, then you can take the instrument cluster out. And you can see on the back of it is all the electrical connections and how it sends the power. So this is where the plugs plug in into here, and they clip in. So one goes there, the other one goes right there, and the other one goes right here. So make sure these are tucked in proper place so that it makes making contact and that they're clean. And so one goes right there, and then our odometer cable goes in here. Now all of these parts, these are our lights. If you notice, I'll pull these out. They have little bulbs. You can see that one is burned out. So my friend here is not working. So I'll need some that size. And they just go in there and twist and lock. So, and then this size also, see, So looks like there's two sizes, this size, and this size. There are some empty slots. I presume that those don't go to anything. But I am going to replace it. I have all of these on this side burned out. Those bottom lights, these are operating your warning lights on the bottom, your check engine light, or these warning lights on the strip under the dashboard. This would be like this. So your warning lights are all across the bottom, down there, your oil light and such. So all of these lights are for that. So I'm going to be replacing these lights with some LEDs, and I'll show you that later. Once I've replaced all the lights with some LEDs, then we'll reassemble. I'm just going to order some so you can see here. We can take a count of how many I've got here of the small ones. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it looks like 14 of the small ones. And there are, of the larger size, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like there's 5 of the larger ones and 13 of the smaller, 14. Let's see, one count again, the smaller ones. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 14 of the small ones, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the larger ones. So to change out all the lights, you will need that many. I'll have the part numbers and in the description of the actual bulb sizes, so you can check that out later. So these bulbs, I think when you buy them in Toyota, they sell the entire piece. I'm going to be using aftermarket stuff because the Toyota things are quite expensive, and I'm changing out all of them, and I want to put LEDs in here, not incandescent bulbs, because LEDs draw less power and they last a really long time. And these bulbs, I think, just pop out. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the smaller one. You see I just pulled the bulb out of it. I had to put the camera down to do that two-handed, but it just slides out and it makes contact there. So I'm going to buy an LED bulb of the same style and plug it right back into these receptacles and then twist them back in. The larger bulbs also work similarly. You can see that one's definitely, these have a little rubber cap on them to give them some color. Let's see if I can show you that. You see, has a little rubber cap for color, like so. But I'm going to be getting some color LEDs, so I won't be needing that. And it looks like this one is burned out. It looks a little blackened. This also comes out of this receptacle. Put the phone down here. Yeah, see that? So that one also comes out of the receptacle there. So I just need to get some bulbs like this, 5 of these, 14 of these other ones, and we'll be back in business. So here are the 2 bulbs to be replaced. I found the numbers on them. The larger bulb is a number 158, and the smaller bulb is a number 74. So these are a number 74 bulb and a number 158 bulb. You can probably pick these up at an auto parts store. But again, I'm going to order some LED bulbs to replace them. So the bulb in the key switch, it comes off with 1 screw. There was 1 screw on the bottom that screwed up in here, and it just slides on. I've got the screw in there, but it just comes in through the bottom right there, and it screws off, and then that plugs into this hole in the back. It also disconnects, so I probably didn't have to take it off, but I did anyway. And it just also twists and comes loose. And the bulb size for this one is also the same, little 74 bulb with a little cover on it. So I'm also going to get an extra one to put on that. So I've now installed all of my new LEDs. I've changed them all out. Now if you notice, these are marked with a positive on one side. It's really kind of hard to see there. There you go. There's positive on that side and negative on that side. And the orientation of these things does matter. So you can't, they're polarized. In other words, you have to hook the positive to the positive, negative to the negative in order for these to work. You could plug it in and then test it out and see, but just for the sake of it, I've already figured this stuff out. So if they're connected together like this on the bottom, these are going to be all your positives on the bottom. These have already worked for me. This one is also positive on the bottom. So positive, positive, positive on the bottom. These are all positive on the bottom. These are positive on the top. This one is positive on the bottom. This one is a negative on the bottom. See here, because the top connects to the bottom there, so these are opposite. And this one is positive on the bottom. And then these two here are also opposite. This one has a negative on the bottom contact, and this one has a positive on the bottom contact. So that's all your indicator lights. For the fuel gauge, now these other LEDs that I got, these larger size ones, the 158, these were not marked positive and negative, so I had to test it with a 9-volt battery, and you see I put a little plus sign there where I found out what side was positive. And so positive here is going to be on this side. This is fuel warning light. And then these gray ones are your illumination. This one, and this one, and this one. Now, and these two on the top are your blinkers. Now, that being said, your indicators, I've used all blue ones, but you may want to use white ones so that you have the factory color on the front, because some of the plastic is colored. And so, for instance, the blinkers, you know, are traditionally green, and the check engine lights and the indicator, the warning lights, are red. So if you shine a blue light through it with the red tint, it's going to still be blue purplish color. But if you wanted the factory color, I would replace these with a white LED. And then for your backlighting, for all the gray ones, you can choose whatever backlighting you want. I've used blue on these. And your blinkers, you would also want to use a white light. If you want it to be factory. I've just used blue everywhere, so all of my lights are going to be blue, but it should be noted. So on the blinkers, the orientation, this side is connected to this, so that's going to be your ground. So you have the positive on this side. And we've got those in there. Now the illumination ones, let's see here how this works. So it looks like positive is going to be on the right, negative on the left. There, and here, same thing, negative on the left, positive on the right. Here, should have the same thing. Now, to get this one out, you had to loosen that screw. I haven't taken it all the way out, I just needed to get it loose enough to get it out. And you can see negative on the left, positive on the right. Now, I've already hooked this up and checked it, so I know they work. And then here also, this one's positive on the right, negative on the left. I'm sorry, no, positive on the left, negative on the right. And then this one is positive on the left also. So I recommend before you plug it in, or before you reinstall, to plug these tabs in without installing it, and to check your lights to make sure they work before you go through the complete installation process. But now that I've got them all in and I'm ready to reinstall, the reinstallation process will be just backwards of removal. I'm not going to show you that, but I hope this helps. Until next time.